You hear me? Yes, it's okay. So India is one favorite country for me. India is part of my work. I work in India online and in Asia country, in Pakistan also. How can this? Because I talk and I speak in English language, because this is the subject for today, the English language. I will present today my work in Asia and how I and my children can speak with each other, how we can learn English language, because my children is so little, 7, 8, 9 years old. I am primary school teacher. How we can communicate with Asian people, how my children can speak correct, because we know the syntaxes, because the English language is a wonderful language. I will share my screen. It's okay?
Yes, ma'am, yes.
Okay, thank you. The international conference for today, native influence on English language. So today we are living in a global village. As the internet explosively grown, over more people are becoming aware of this global village on a personal level. English is one of the world language. It is the language of progressive science and technology, trade and business. It is the language of international aviation. It is also a major language of diplomacy. Hundreds of books, magazines, and newspapers are printed in English. Half of the words are printed in English. English is spoken by millions of people. It is the official language of the UK, United States of America, Australia, New Zealand. It is used as one of the official language in Canada, in America, South Africa, Africa, Asia, and here in Europe. Millions of people study and use English as a foreign language. English also plays an important role in teenagers' work. It is a dominant language, it's youth style, and is one way which teenagers across the world can communicate with each other. Learning a foreign language isn't an easy feeling. My work in Asia countries and how we use the English language. 3 years ago, I started working online in Pakistan, and then in India, Bangladesh, Palestine, Indonesia. With the help of English language, I tried to create an open door to the wonderful world of Asia for our children. International language English. I had the honor 2 years ago to be able to contact Asia countries and to carry out project in English, the international language. I participate with great interest in these projects that go around the world. The most important project what I had in Pakistan first was International School Award, British Council. I had the honor to rediscovering wonderful places what I knew only from TV or from books. In the virtual way, children from Asian schools were able to enter in my classroom, and I had live activity. We can speak in English language, benefit from the knowledge of English, we could interact. Here is, was last 3 years ago, our activity with the coordinator from Pakistan school. Here are the picture, my children and Pakistani children. The live activities was so special for us. We can communicate with each other, we can see each other, we can do interesting activities together. Here also my children, Pakistani children, spoke in English language. Here also my class, and on the wall, the Pakistani children, live activity in English. I had the honor after attending a live lesson, a unique moment in our life. Is wonderful. The connecting classroom was wonderful. Unique moment in the life of my students. We had the opportunity to have one of our activities live. The Pakistani class or Indian class participate in the game activity in my class. They participate in the dance activity also. All this is possible today, connecting classroom. Students in Pakistan were able to watch English play activities supported by my children with me. And here is the live activity in India. We spoke in English with the Indian children. Students from India participate with me in dance activity also. My children dancing to Indian music. Here you can see my girl dance in Indian music. The Indians dance to the specific music of my country. The international language English in our case is very important. It helps us to collaborate. Through it, we talk, write messages, looking to learn new innovative things from each other. Asian countries have a rich experience. We want to learn from you. Here also is my children, and here and here, the Indian children who dance Romanian dance. Was amazing. The activity was amazing. Here also, pictures from India and from my class. Benefit of learning foreign language activity with Pakistan and India. My children held activities in English between the International School Award project of the British Council. The children wrote and present environmental rules, classroom rules in English for the people of Pakistan, but they also present them in Spanish language, German, French, and Romanian language words. And my children write in Urdu language, Pakistani language. In the second part of the activity, they made drawing presenting fruits and vegetables, writing their English version. We was all very happy that via the internet and also filming our activity, we could communicate online with the children from another school. Here there are children in this year activity with Pakistan also. Also was last week, I had a language activity with another school from Pakistan. We write words in English, in Romanian, but my children write also in Urdu language. Here is my children draw, 7 years old. We use Google Translate. We see the Romanian version, words in Romanian, in English, and in Urdu. So we use two languages, English and specific of Asia. Here also Urdu language and English, Romanian, English, and Urdu. This picture is another class, little children, 7 years old. They make draw and write words in Romanian and in English. And I sent these pictures in Pakistani school. We had PowerPoint presentation. The importance of foreign language. More and more people are dedicate time to studying English as a second language. Many countries include English in their schools, and children are starting to learn English at a younger age. But what is the true value of learning English? If we are looking for a new job or planning to travel the world, studying English can help us progress in life, both personally and professionally. We can also start to meet people around the world. Good knowledge of English will allow you to access films, music, and culture from hundreds of countries around the globe. Not to mention the fact that so many books from across the world are translated into English. Few experience will make you grow as a person more than learning the value, habits, and way of life in a culture that is different from yours. The importance for us, why English is important for us, for teacher. The English is so important because today you can speak, I can speak in English in India, in this conference. Learning a foreign language is not easy. This is a long and slow process that needs a lot of time and effort. Today, it is especially important to know foreign language. Some people study the language because they are needs for work, others for travel in another country. Learning language is a hobby. Foreign language is for our children in our schools. Anyone knowing foreign language can communicate with people in other countries. Like our case, we can talk in India, read foreign readers in the original, making your horizon much wider. For us, for teachers, is so important because we can meet each other and we can make international projects together. We can work, we can make conferences, we can understand what we want. We can do our work together. Today, we can talk about all our work. Thank you so much for the wonderful day. I'm so happy because I can speak in English. Without English today, I can't be in this conference. Thank you for the invitation for today. We all know, as a part of my work is in Asia countries, especially in these two countries, Pakistan and India. I'm proud of having known wonderful people in this country. Past weeks, I had a TV show in which I told about my friendship, about my friends, what I have in Asia. I have with Indian people, with the teachers from India. In India, I found a country with special people. It's my favorite country. I want an open door for the future with India. We must collaborate. The traditions and culture of our countries must be known all over the world. Thank you so much.
Well, ma'am, thank you so much. You really took us from India to Pakistan and back and presented to us what language can do. It's just not literature. It is just not reading. Also knowing the culture, the translation, the kind of exchange. And that activity was beautiful, writing in Romanian and writing in Urdu. That is such a beautiful activity. In a country like India, we can do it in so many dialects and so many languages because entire country, unity in diversity.
Hello,
Even
Maria.
if we go beyond our borders, we have I think can you hear me?
Yes, now. In between, it was muted.
No, I think it was muted. I just wanted to say thank you, ma'am, to you. You took us from India to Pakistan, brought us back, also told us how language can go with the culture. Most of you will be aware of it that now, even in Korea, this is happening. The Korean music has come, so Korean language is being learned online. Similarly, with English as a base, we are there. You took us to communicate and to open doors and windows. And yes, we understood collaboration, communication, and connectivity. The three C's can only come when we put everything together. And what puts us together is the syntax of a language. Just to share something very interesting, the word syntax came into lyricism use in the year 1548. And that time the word meant sense, because syntax came from the Latin word syntaxis, which means putting it together. And that's what we are doing today. So, with that, thank you very much, Hideri and Diana ma'am, and welcome to Dr. Mrs. Swati Khere. We didn't see you first. I'm sure you were there. Now we are seeing you. So, welcome. Please put your hands together. Say thank you to Diana ma'am.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure, ma'am.
Thank you.
Let's move on a little further. We are moving on to another speaker, Rania Lampo. Ma'am, have I got your name right? Rania Lampo? Yes?
Yes, that's okay.
Okay. A global educator, a STEM instructor, a new concept which has come in the world has also come into India now with a STEM instructor and an ICT teacher trainer in Greece, which is all over the world. Interestingly, ma'am has an ML in language teaching, which is related to cognitive neuroscience. So language, psychology, science, neurology has all come in together. Without that, you can't teach language. That's why Piaget also exists and even linguistics exists. Ma'am has not stopped over there. She has gone a step further to tell us how English can be global, how English can reach, and how English can give you wings to fly. She is a STEM instructor at the Greek Astronomy and Space Company, working for the Greek Ministry of Education at the Directorate of Education and Technology. And she writes STEM projects. So STEM projects which give you steaming effect. Global Teacher Awardee, Global Teacher Prize finalist in 2019, a global icon. We've heard of fashion icons. We've heard of model icon. Now we are looking at a global icon when we have Madam Rania Lampo with us. She's among the 10 women entrepreneurs featured in Fortune. Besides that, a social activist and very, very active on the United Nations SDG, Sustainable Developmental Goals, which is our agenda on 2030 in NDP in India and all over, it's there as an agenda. She's an ambassador for the Ecumenical Delphic Union in collaboration with the Harvard University, a global council member of the Chartered Institute of Leadership, Education and Development, and a country chair of the Asian African Chamber of Commerce and Industries. I can go on and on. What picked me up is the World Voice International. Yes, ma'am. Edu World Voice, that's required. And global leadership in education. Education, we all educate. Educators are found, but global leadership is something that we need to learn. An important takeaway that we are going to get from you. and igniting dreams of young minds foundation. International executive member of the Global Education Leaders Forum, and into various ambassadorships. At the moment, she is the executive director of Forum Plus 36, Peace and Unity, an international ambassador of volunteerism and education. And with all this busy schedule, so many things on her platter, she is the educational board member of many journals, and plus presenting papers at international conferences and e-conference that we are with. Please put your hands together to welcome Madam Rania Lampo. Madam, we are very happy to have you with us, and we are waiting anxiously to hear from you. Over to you, ma'am.
Good evening from Greece. Thank you very much for your lovely introduction, and also thank you very much for your kind invitation to be today to organize this wonderful, constructive, and enriching conference. Well, as I said before, I'm a STEM instructor. I'm trying to promote STEM vision not only to scientists, but also to English language teachers and foreign language teaching. It's a new concept that I'm trying to promote all around the world. I have organized last year a popular live show, which was addressed to English language teachers about how we can promote STEM education in English language teaching, and it had a great success. Apart from this, I'm also a French language teacher, so I have done a lot of research about language interference, which is our topic today. So today we're going to explore the mother tongue influence in English communication and especially in syntax. There are a number of theoretical approaches to the discipline of syntax. Linguists such as Noam Chomsky see syntax as a branch of biology, since they conceive of syntax as the study of linguistic knowledge which is embodied in the human mind. There are other experts that take a more Platonistic view, since they regard syntax to be the study of an abstract formal system. However, syntax is the grammatical arrangement of words in a sentence. It concerns both word order and agreement in the relationship between words. And syntax is primarily concerned with the structure of sentences. Learning a new language can be a stressful event, because even the best prepared teacher will encounter problems unconnected on the surface to grammar, sentence structure, and vocabulary. Teachers, of course, cannot cancel out all these factors, but they can hopefully lessen the uneasiness or fear felt by most language learning students. Teachers need to be alert to transfers or borrowings that students may make as they acquire a new language. So what is transfer? Transfer is evident in all linguistic subsystems, and when a highly similar language is the target, for example, the native language can greatly facilitate acquisition. The influence of the native language on the acquisition of a foreign language has long been the central issue of research in applied linguistics. And the issue of first language interference has had a long history in the second language studies. Many researchers have been carried out to study first language interference and its effect on second language learners. And it has been said that the transfer of mother tongue native language is one of the major sources of second language learners to make mistakes in the writing. Of course, factors such as age of arrival, age of English acquisition, years of formal instruction, language and dialect of the surrounding community, and opportunities to practice with native English speakers play a large role in the degree of transfer of one language to another. So native language transfer is a complex phenomenon. The influence of native language on second language acquisition can be divided in two kinds. First of all, the positive transfer, positive effects and negative effects. The positive effects, the positive transfer, and the negative transfer refer to the interference, of course, and the obstruction of native language to second language acquisition. However, for a long time in the studies, when it comes to native language transfer, people usually focus on the negative transfer of native language, while the positive transfer has not received sufficient attention. So all this theory of second language acquisition holds that native language is not only a necessary background, the foundation for second language teaching, but also a resource that can be developed and utilized. Native language plays a very important role in the process of second language teaching, and language transfer is a result of interaction between the target language and native language that has been learned before. So also there are remember two basic principles. First of all is the principle, the clarity of purpose, that it says that native language should be borrowed when the grammar is hard to understand for English learners. That means that native language can be used to explain linguistic difficulties of grammar, vocabulary, etc. It can be seen that the use of native language is not English, but to enhance here students' understanding of English. Therefore, native language can be employed in the reading class involving comprehension. In listening or speaking classes which focus on language application and practice, the use of native language also is not necessary. This is the first principle, the clarity of purpose. There is a second principle, which is called principle of moderation. Here, some experts have pointed out that the time of using native language in foreign language class cannot exceed 10%. We all know that foreign language teaching is an input process. Only sufficient input ensures sufficient output. So the time and quantity of second language input must be guaranteed in foreign language classes. So the principle of moderation should be also applied in English teaching. We talked about positive and negative. Negative transfer refers to that the knowledge and thinking habits of native language seriously affect and hinder people's learning of second language. Many scholars believe that in the process of language acquisition, under the influence of native language, students often have errors at all levels, such as pronunciation, vocabulary, syntax, I'm going to see this, and writing compositions. So what about syntax now? We could explore different languages. For instance, between Chinese and English, there are positive transfers. Both, why? Because both Chinese and English have common features in many aspects. In the process of second language acquisition, if first language has more similarities with second language, of course, it is easier to have a good command of the second language. And this process of language similarities promotes second language acquisition. It's called positive transfer, as we said before. So such language similarities undoubtedly help language learners to learn a second language. So many students unconsciously use grammatical rules and methods used in learning their native language. If there are more commonalities between language first and language second, students can master the grammatic rules of the second language easily and accelerate the learning speed more effectively, which can prove that the positive transfer of native language plays a vital role in promoting the learning of second language. So here we can see, for instance, some similarities between English and Chinese that are reflected not only in vocabulary, but also in syntax. Syntactic similarities are mainly manifested in basic sentence structures. For instance, there are basic sentence structures, subject and verb, subject, verb, and object. So we see that here, these patterns are exactly the same between English and Chinese language. That means that English learners can take advantage of such similarities. So the transfer of Chinese properly to improve, they can use the transfer of Chinese properly to improve learning efficiency. Also, there are the structure of prepositional phrase, preposition plus object. So this also shows that English and Chinese have a great similarity in the use of prepositions. That means that they both adopt the prepositional structure following the syntactic order of preposition before object. Modifiers of nouns and adjective or grammatical phenomena have great also similarities in this, such as inversion or ellipsis or imperative mode. And also, some experts discuss learning in terms of two types of transfer. We talked about positive and negative transfer. We have also vertical and lateral. Lateral transfer requires a plan of action to use skills already learned in order to build new ones, showing greater complexity. And there we have also lateral transfer, which involves reapplying skills at the same level of complexity. So remember, 4 types of language transfer. What about the Greek language, which is my native language? If we compare two languages, English and Greek, the Greek and English are both Indo-European languages. However, English is one of Germanic languages, while Greek is by itself a single branch of Indo-European family. So it does not belong to a subfamily. Therefore, it is not very close related to any other Indo-European language. Therefore, Greek and English phonology, grammar, morphology, syntax, and vocabulary are very different in nature. For instance, in syntax, the syntax of the Greek language is more flexible than the English one. That means that the word order in both Greek and English is subject, verb, object. But in English, this order is very strict and important for the comprehension of the sentence. In Greek, this order can be changed without any ambiguities due to the rich and flexional apparatus of the Greek language. Consequently, Greek speakers do not consider word order very important, and the errors of misunderstandings when they speak or write in English are very frequent. Quite often, they place the object in the subject's place and the other, and vice versa, or they omitted the subject, because in Greek, the endings of the verbs make the use of the subject optional. What about the Arab language? Here, an English language teacher make errors in word order when they form English sentences. For instance, unlike the English sentence word order that mentioned before, verb, subject, object, in classical Arabic syntax, there is a basic word order where the subject is preceded by verb. So we can say an example. The committee hoped to solve the problem. Arabs will say, hoped the committee to solve the problem. This is one. The second one is that Arabic language uses the secondary clause, which acts as an object and starts with that, where English uses the infinitive. For example, I want you to stay. Arab will say, I want that you stay. Another example in Arab language is that there are no auxiliary verbs. So Arab-speaking learners of English might not use verb to do to form a question. They will, for instance, where does he spend his summer vacation? And Arab will say where he spent his summer vacation. And another characteristic of Arabic syntax, which actually cause problems to English learners, to Arab learners who learn English, that in English adjectives precede nouns, whereas they follow nouns in Arabic. And an example of a large classroom, Arabs will say classroom large. Another example here we can mention a study conducted in Malaysia, which shows that also there is a considerable amount of mother tongue influences syntactical order in writing among a study among students which were in the Tamil school. So here there students have to face the challenges of learning 3 language subjects, Tamil, English, and Malay. And therefore, they concluded that these students should be offered equal teaching hours with equal effort so that one language does not interfere with the other, especially in a Malaysian context. And because of this kind of complications in the early stage of language teaching, Tamil school students are at a disadvantaged position in language learning and mastery. And another Portuguese also is very interesting. Why? Because we're talking about it's a new subject language. Portuguese new subject is a language where is the absence of a subject in a sentence. So it is well known that most Romance languages belong to the group of null subject languages. So here we can see how it is difficult. For instance, in Angola, the country where Portuguese is both the language, the first language, students encounter difficulties in the formulation of English sentences. Why? Because it's the handling of English subject. We've seen how the study reveals that in their construction of English sentences, these students tended to drop the subject due to the influence of Portuguese and their their native language, as I said before. And in fact, the subject in Portuguese can be understood there from the verbal context. In English, however, the subject, we know it's obligatory and comes before the verb. So the lack of equivalence of Portuguese nil subjects in English is probably the source of difficulties these pupils face. And also, something that we need to know is that all language acquisition takes place in a social matrix. And so it will be useful to consider some of the social factors that are relevant to a transfer, to a language transfer. Because usually there are some background factors that we not consider, and they play a role, a significant role in cross-linguistic influence. And also, here I want to say that there is a systematic representation of syntactical order of sentences in every language. And it's also evident that all the syntactic properties have not been deeply explored yet, but it is strongly believed that it takes years to master a language through proper systematic learning procedure, and hence, instead of trying to master the language in the same ways, I believe there's a need to improvise. So the syntactic and morphological structure mechanism building the structure of sentences is not the same in all the languages. For instance, in French language, it has a limited impact on various features of English syntax. For instance, certain adjectives borrowed from French retain a post-adjectival position today, where we would normally expect the adjective to come before the noun in present-day English. And we can see the example, general election or royal wedding. There are here in English language hints of their French origin that survive in certain titles like Princess Royal and Secretary General. And also contrasting the French and English newspaper articles, we can see difference in the usage of definite article. While French uses the definite article for certain jobs and titles, such as Le Prince William, in English there is no article. They say Prince William without definite article. Although this use of definite article is obsolete in present-day English, in some Middle English texts they were influenced by Norman French, which appear still some texts. And also in Vietnamese language, as far as morphosyntax is concerned, many studies reveal that English, we know that is a moderately inflected language that uses morphological morphemes. Morphemes are the smallest units of meaning. To mark tense, for instance, played, ed, and number, the plural s. So Vietnamese, on the other hand, is an isolating language in that the grammar primarily consists of word order and the use of action words rather than bound morphemes. So Vietnamese also differs from English in that it does not morphologically mark tense, aspect, or number. So tense is represented with words that precede the verb to indicate past, present, or future respectively. And these tense markers are not required for sentences to be grammatically correct and are often inferred in the context. So here we can see also what are the differences between Vietnamese language and English language. Also, here to say that most of the non-English speakers try to learn English language in the same, unfortunately, old-fashioned by understanding the general rules of English grammar along with those of knowledge in applied linguistics. So every individual actually is led the same way, and therefore they end up using vernacular English with a lot of mother tongue influence that is clearly visible in the language use. And this, I think that this could be the beginning of the death of creativity that eventually consumes, destroys the imagination of the learner to improvise. So in the most of academic and educational training centers, an individual learner who is basically non-English teaching of non-English speaking background is initiated usually to follow ways of the trainer who may have mother tongue influence. So instead of helping them to understand the language in their own way in order to improvise it in a better way, the non-English speakers are forced to adopt what they are taught. And this is really one, I think, of the major reasons why most of the non-English speaking students are willing to consider the English language as part of the syllabus and as a subject that they need to pass in order to complete their education. So instead of digging deeper into grammar or trying to understand it by translating into native language, it's recommended the imaginative thinking to be more enhanced rather than the factual thinking, which is filled with annoying grammar rules. And in order to overcome this criteria, our approach should be different perspective. Every individual learner should learn to improvise the art of making sentences that are constructive and functional based, rather than those that are purely governed by grammar rules. So what could be the strategies about this? How we can mitigate all the negative transfers of language interference? How we can build, help students build syntax awareness? Guiding students to pay attention to positive transfer of first language and apply it to second language teaching. Teachers can guide students to use their knowledge of native language to help them master second language more effectively and quickly. And also they can help students compare native language and target language by various ways, find out the similar characteristics which help students to remember and master foreign language knowledge. All of these research studies that I've mentioned may provide useful information regarding cross-language transfer of skills, which may contribute to a better overall understanding of how children learn languages. A clear understanding of a normal variation in the language development of children, which is exposed to two languages, is the first step in developing effective language teaching materials, as well as assessment and educational interventions for a variety of language learners. And how we can ability to understand that the sentence level is in many ways the foundation for being able to comprehend the text. The ways in which authors express their ideas through sentences greatly affect the reader's ability to access and identify those ideas. Sentences that are complex, contain a large number of ideas, or have unusual word order will make it difficult for students to comprehend what they're reading, especially students who enter school with limited oral language exposure. So consider this, one by one sentences communicate ideas that add up to make meaning. Efficient processing of sentence structure is necessary for overall comprehension. The level of a text syntax is one predictor of a text comprehensibility. And effective readers have knowledge of phrase structures, parts of sentences, and how they work. Sentence knowledge is also important for student composing. And student syntax awareness, which means having the ability to monitor the relationship among the words in a sentence in order to understand while reading or composing orally or in writing. Students build syntax awareness through exposure to oral language when they're young, and particularly through exposure to written language, and that they hear through reading aloud or independent reading. And what are the activities to develop a syntactic awareness? There are several instructional activities that we can leverage that can help students develop what we call a sentence sense or syntactic awareness by providing opportunities to manipulate and add the word in sentences. For instance, we have what we call sentence scrabble. During a sentence scrabble activity, students arrange words to form a sentence. Students are given a set of words from a sentence that they are out of order. So they must then arrange the words into a complete sentence that follow correct English grammar. And here you can use also digital tools that can also provide this opportunity for sentence scrabble. And also some suggestions for using sentence scrabbles, use sentence from text used for reading or read aloud, or include words recently encountered in phonics or spelling lessons, or include newly vocabulary terms. Introduce sentence scrabbles that have just a few words, 3 or 4 at the most, etc. We have another also option, what we call the W questions, the center elaboration. Here, central elaboration activities help students use and manipulate a growing number of words and sentences, and they are especially helpful for developing syntactic awareness for subordinate clauses, prepositional phrases, and adverbial phrases. A basic sentence elaboration activity uses 6 questions: who, what, why, which, how. And this activity starts with a simple subject. Then a series of questions is asked to prompt the questions to prompt students to expand and elaborate. This activity can be done in whole group with students making suggestions while the teacher writes the sentences. And there are other activities. It's very important to focus on one syntactic feature at a time. It's important to front load a specific language tool, but it's a teacher's decision what type of syntactic elements necessary for a specific lesson. It's important also to make models accessible. For model sentences to be effective, they must be aligned to the language proficiency of our students. As we model sentence structure, we need to make sure that our mentor sentences are easy for all students to understand. So complexity vocabulary in a model sentence may detract from students' ability to focus on the structure of the sentence. Provide abundant opportunities for scaffolded output. And also, as far as the sentence pattern is concerned, first step, provide models. Have students identify patterns when you're going to learn to teach about a new sentence model pattern. Have students construct sentences based on the patterns. Provide additional patterns to deepen understanding. Encourage students to use patterns during independent writing. And why a rigorous syntax instruction is necessary? Why? Because it improves reading comprehension. The ability to grasp syntactic cues is one of the strongest indicators of reading proficiency. To ensure comprehensible reading output, to ensure growth of students' language proficiency. So, by concluding, I want to say that it's very important to make full use, of course, of language transfer in the process of second language acquisition, and only by overcoming negative transfer and making use of positive transfer, this can be promoted. So in our daily teaching and learning, we should pay much attention to some aspects, as I said before, in the aspect of sentence pattern, we should strengthen comparative sense, pay attention to the similarities between the two languages and make use of them. We can develop and strengthen our English language sense by reading more English newspapers, novels, and so on. In terms of culture, language is a kind of profound historical and cultural accumulation. So language cannot exist without the culture. They complement each other. And also, by concluding, I want to say that every individual who is a non-English speaker and willing to learn English needs to be free to think and improvise in different ways. Syntax in English language is like blood to the body, but it also doesn't mean that blood is the only thing that keeps the body alive. Likewise, instead of just following the basic syntactic procedures of English language, it's also advised to improvise according to the situation and use the mind to be innovative while learning the language rather than purely applying the grammatical rules and structures. Non-English speakers who are learning English language should be able to understand the syntax, not only in a grammatical way, but also in a way that will help them to arrange the words in the right sense to generate the meaningful meaning of the sentence spoken by them. Thank you very much. And if you have any question, I am at your disposal.
Thank you very much, ma'am. You took us through a complete different journey. How science, technology, engineering, maths is all together a science, and how this can be immersed into the science of language through linguistics, syntax, which is a new word that we are using. The old word was grammar, now also we use the word grammar. You also took us through a journey of how everything gets merged at one stage. It was something very interesting to follow. At the same time, we have to admit that when you talk of native influence in a language, it's also something that we have to be ready on the native hearing and the listening of the language, because we've been listening. And when it comes to that, it becomes a little difficult to take in, because this is also part of the native influence of it. English language, Occidental languages, Oriental languages, all have their own way of presenting. And when that comes together, that native influence is also part of syntax. Thank you very much, ma'am, for being with us, for taking us to a complete different, it was a paradigm shift, that we went through something else, a lot of takeaway that came from it. Rachana, has a third speaker come in?
Ma'am is having technical glitches, not able to enter. I don't know what is wrong. So probably the third speaker will not be able
Okay,
to
then
join.
can I just sort of just give a little brief on the third speaker who is not there? Yeah.
Yeah,
At the
let's
same
see.
time. Okay. We are unfortunate that we can't have the third speaker, Cheku Dukpa, Jackson Dukpa as he's called, coming from the happy country of Bhutan, the only country which has got a happiness quotient, and all over the world, and in the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, we are all supposed to reach that happiness quotient which is required. Besides going through the, of course, he's in transportation engineering, B civil engineering, has got lot of professional hobbies, a writer, poet, musician, singer, dancer. So he's an engineering person. He's working for engineering. At the same time, he's also a human engineer. And also because he does rhythm, he's also a human engineering and dancing. He sings, so there's a voice engineering that happens. He transports it through a language, so we have a transportation engineering that comes. And he works in the civil, so it's a civil engineering option, besides the academic qualifications that have come in. Something more I want to share with you is, he's got some favorite quotes, which could be our takeaway for today. Though he is not there, we would love to have him. Hopefully, the technical glitches will get over and he will join. He says, destiny is not what you believe, it's what you create. I repeat, destiny is not what you believe, it's what you create. This is what syntax is about. In poetry also, when syntax comes in, we talk of it as poetic license, but this is what it is. If you cannot find happiness within yourself, you can't find it anywhere else. It has to come from somebody who comes from Bhutan with a happiness quotient. It couldn't have come from anybody else, but that's a big takeaway for us. Happiness is a journey, but not a destination. Difficulty, unless assumed, tells nothing about impossibility. You have to assume a difficulty, and then you realize whether it is possible. Same thing what Rania Lampo mentioned. You have to be ready with everything, and then you experiment and see the experimentation, how it works, with so many things together and language pulled it together. What puts us together, what binds us together is language, and more so English language, besides the other languages which have come in, because they are also the translational languages. Having given your best, let people have the freedom to judge you. If they judged you wrong, prove them wrong. And if they judged you right, live up to their judgment. A good takeaway that we have got from him. I would want to invite Rachana in between over here before we go further, and welcome Mohammad Idris, Mahua Chakraborty, Ina Hazango, and Nur Ahmad.
Yeah.
Rachana, over to you in between.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was wonderful listening to you, ma'am, as well as our two erudite speakers, and the others, Jackson Dupka, we missed him because of some technical problems. He was trying for quite a long time. I think for 15 to 20 minutes, he's still trying to enter. I don't know, but there is always technical problems. So we should excuse our speakers who are trying a lot to join in. On that note, I could see our other speakers too, who was very much there with us. And from the beginning, they were there. And Dinah ma'am had very nicely told how English transcends us to a level and making that communication very easy, whether in whichever part of the country we belong to. So very nice, ma'am. Thank you so much, and gratitude from the bottom of my heart, as well as to the others who have joined us today. Swati ma'am was there yesterday as our speaker, and it was lovely to have you also, ma'am, with us today, listening and taking in a lot of takeaways from the speakers. So on that note, because we had waited for a speaker, normally we'll see if we can make him join tomorrow if it's possible, or else today we'll be ending it on this note with a thank you note for Shaluja ma'am, who is given us her precious time for moderating this event. Thank you so much, ma'am, from the bottom of my heart. And it was really a wonderful pleasure listening to you. And you had brought live to the live session. So the live wires you have touched in all the aspects. And I could see that the Zoom session, though it was only with all the educators today in the Zoom room too, I could see that. But still the momentum which you put into the speech, that was awesome. And thank you so much, ma'am, for your precious time. I know that you're busy with all your other daily schedules, but still you had spent your time with us, and we'd be waiting eagerly to listen to your speech too on the last day you are joining us. So tomorrow is the day 3 of our Global Educators Conference. So I am inviting everyone on this platform, do join us. We have a line of speakers with us, and the felicitation will be there on the concluding day, that is the 4th day, for all the speakers as well as the moderators. So don't forget to join us in the last day, everyone, whoever was there, as well as those who were constantly present with us. There is a surprise felicitation for them too, who had always motivated us throughout continuously, who was always there from the day 1 of the conference. So thank you so much. And 3rd day is very important. Noor Ahmed will be our moderator, and he will be moderating for the erudite speakers on the 3rd day from Bangladesh. He himself is an intelligent person, and he will be with the speakers on day 3. Day 3's topic is again a fantastic topic which we had selected. It is all about the semantics, which we call it. Now, what is this semantics? Little bit in short, it's a study of the meaning of words and sentences in its simplest. So we all know that it's just the meaning of the words, sentences, all this together is the semantics. So tomorrow we'll be there with our speakers, and our speakers will be explicitly talking about the meaning of the words and the sentences, how do we form it. So be glued to us tomorrow too for this session, which a lot of takeaways, as today we had from Greece, we had from Romania, the scholars joining us and making this event a successful event. And of course, our Indian scholars are always acknowledged with their presence and with their humbleness of pointing us the pointers which we need to take over. Thank you so much for being with us.
1 minute, Rachana. Any of the participants who have joined would want to comment, would have something to say, ask questions. We do have time.
I joined late, Rachina, because of some technical issues, but whatever the participant I heard, it's extraordinary participant, especially the Dinah's things, PowerPoint I observed, it's very nicely prepared. The Renia is also very powerful speaker, and none other than our Shaluja madam. It's long time that I have never heard from you. It's a long time, and it's a great pleasure for me to listen your talk, and very impressive, and you are my role model. As you know very well that I am taking lots of inspiration from you, madam. So very nice, Rachana. It's very. I'm especially thankful to you. You have given me a great opportunity to participate in this live webinar. Thank you very much.
So actually, both of them are my gurus to tell, reveal on this live platform. Even we have Swati, Dr. Swati is also the chief moderator, so we can say, so she is there. I was working under her, and Shaluja ma'am is always our inspiration, and we are all learning. So basically, the team was today a very nice team, and thank you for giving us your time. It's always a learning process. Life is a learning process. And we are just a grain of sand in the vast ocean of knowledge. So every day is a learning for me, and I'm learning every day, enjoying that process of learning. So it was
Noor Ahmed,
wonderful.
you have something to say. I saw the heart. I want to know what the heart has to say now.
Noor Ahmed, over to you.
Yeah, I saw the heart. I want to know what the heart has to say. Noor Ahmed, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Yeah, tell me. We'd love to hear
Actually,
from you. Waiting
yes,
to hear from you
definitely.
tomorrow, but today, if you can have your comments or the last sixer or whatever.
Yes, thank you so much for giving me the floor. Yes, I'm so much excited for the tomorrow event. And yes, from the very beginning day to still till today, I have learned some informative information from the keynote speaker of today. And yes, some of the known face of international educators. And yes, I have to give my gratitude to the Rachanaji to arrange such a massive program for the educators. And yes, for the I have to say that learning has no bound. Whenever you have opportunity to learn, whatever the content are, you have to just dedicate yourself to enrich your ideas, knowledge as much as you can. But you know what? In the time of though I'm from the business background, so still someone thinking that you are from business background, so why you want to take a learning from the other background? Why not you are focusing on your background only? I just focus that yes, learning has no bound, but at the same time, apart from my own activities, apart from my own criteria, I want to learn something else. You know, whenever someone said that think out of box, I just learn out of box. So I just focus on that, and I'm learning, and inshallah, it will be a great event in the near future when I will share my learning session towards the world. So thank you so much for giving me the
Thank
floor.
you. Veena ma'am and Mahua ma'am. Something
Good
to
evening.
contribute from you. Thank you, Noor Ahmed.
Thank you so much, ma'am. First, I must tell you, you have been an electrifying moderator. The way you described about Rachna ma'am, 100% true. The way you introduced her. And I really thank Rachna ma'am also for creating such a wonderful platform. When I heard the topic first, I was so excited. So yesterday and today, a lot of takeaways, and I was captivated by the way you were moderating throughout the session. It's learning so much from you. And I'd like to tell Diana ma'am that being a teacher for the last so many years, I could relate to her because I've been doing projects also with the British Council. And to promote language, I'm from Assam, the Northeast. So to promote the language Hindi and Assamese, we too had written different kinds of words and tried to share globally. The same which ma'am had done with the Urdu language. And we had done a lot of activities. So I was very happy and I was able to relate because I have done too. Then with a school in Japan, then many of the children in the primary, they exchanged, the culture, and they exchanged the dances as well as the recipes, the excitement that we had. And they opened the atlas and showed the place where they are. Then we open and we show where we are. So it was a wonderful interaction globally. Then if I go to Ma'am Rania, ma'am, from Greece, then I, as an English teacher, which she said about giving a lead to the children to write, or giving the words who, which, where, how. That is how we do in the class. So all the things that we have actually done, And to hear from such eminent personalities, such learned scholars, makes me also feel so happy and enlightened that at least we are also a part of something. And this, I'm blessed to be a part of this, beautiful platform. Thank you
Yes,
so
Mahua
much.
Chakraborty, like to hear from you.
Yes, good evening to all the dignitaries and the eminent speakers. Yesterday's takeaway was also excellent. And I would first thank Rachna ma'am to invite us and give an opportunity to speak and share our thoughts and listen and gain knowledge, as knowledge has no bounds, which is very correct. And it has really been a very, very cherishing uh, time where we are able to take away so much of knowledge from everybody, with a special mention of Rania ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Especially the interrogative words which you said, how, why, what. That not only for English, ma'am, that also we always tell the students, until and unless you question, until and unless you have the freedom to question, you can never develop. It is not only for English, but also for science, for any other subject. The question words are the most important words. So they were the most important takeaways for today. And especially, ma'am, I've heard you on many platforms speaking. So it was excellent. And I also want to tell about Veena ma'am. Veena ma'am, I did stay for a short duration in Guwahati after getting married. So I know the essence of Bihu dance. So
Thank
it
you.
is very, very, very charming and enthralling dance, which is
Thank you.
very
Thank you so
vibrant.
much. Yes.
So I could connect there with Hindi, of course,
It's a pleasure to
because I
meet
grew
you.
up in Jamshedpur. Yes,
That's
ma'am. It's all,
wonderful.
you know what
That's
I think
wonderful.
the best part of this pandemic has given so much of negativities, but I feel pandemic has given us so much of positivities with connecting with so many people across the globe, with such wonderful educators and wonderful human beings. And Shailaja ma'am, first time I heard you and I've become your big fan. Like, it was you are such a great moderator of a different, I would say, different variety altogether. Like, I've got no words to explain. So you had so much of life when you were telling, and that shows what a great and passionate educationist you are, ma'am. So it's truly a blessing to have met you today, ma'am. So I would be very thankful to Rachna ma'am if you keep inviting Shaluja ma'am in future also every time, so that we get motivated by such a true passionate educator. Like,
And the last word, I'm taking it to Mohammed Idris. I would love to see your video. And here you are there, but can you just give us your last word? I know it's women power, but at the same time, you can have be the last batsman to end the winning team. Come on, Mohammed Idris. You've been there at the start also. Then you've been hiding yourself. Mohammed Idris, are you there, please? Is there or is not there?
Is there? Mohammed Idris, are you
Mohammed
there?
Idris, are you there? We'd love to hear from you. Come on.
He just wants to listen, probably. Silent listener.
No, but then it is LSRW, no? This listening, reading, speaking, right, everything comes together, no, the language. So he has to speak. Mohammed Idris would like to at least see you. I saw you for a few seconds, but I haven't heard you. And from Rania Lempo, I've heard that there is World Voice International and Education World Voice. So your voice has to be heard. Come on, Mohammed Idris, please. Are you around? No? Is he there? I don't think he is there.
Yeah, probably. Probably has taken a break a little bit. He was there in the beginning. I saw him
Yeah,
though.
I saw him.
Yeah. So anyway,
Thank you so much for the session, and thank you, Rachana, for giving me this opportunity to moderate the session. A lot of learning and takeaways from here. Over to Rachana, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank Swati ma'am and Diana ma'am also. Swati ma'am, yesterday she spoke, she was excellent, and Diana ma'am today It was wonderful. And so I just missed out on that, and especially Noor Ahmed sir, like he is, it's so motivating to find people who are going beyond their profession to take up some nuggets. So that is very, very inspiring. Thank you so much.
Very true,
Good night,
Mahua
all of
ma'am.
you. Bye-bye. Love you.
Oh, very true, Mahua ma'am. Going away, and I know Diana ma'am, I know Rania ma'am. They are in different several platforms across in the, and every day we hear their excellent speeches in different topics. So it's always a learning, as Noor Ahmed also said, that we never step behind. Wherever there is knowledge, we just jump into it and collect the knowledge in whichever platform it is. So that is what I really admire, and bow down to all of you, that being a STEM educator too and talking about language, Rania ma'am, it was so wonderful when you accepted the invitation. And I know that you are of the STEM educator, that is the science department, and even Moha ma'am too, I know she is related with science, but then too accepting the language and becoming a part of it and taking in learning. Even Diana ma'am was, yesterday we had speakers who told that they opened up and they saw Nada ma'am told that she had opened up. She got so many references about languages. So it's just a process. So do join us tomorrow too. We'll be extending this process with semantics, and there will be lot of takeaways. Do join, if not for a few seconds, for a few minutes, if you join and listen to the electrifying speeches of the speakers, it will really motivate you. So don't forget to join us. And thank you. Until then, stay happy, stay blessed, and start learning speaking in English, and find out why the native influence is there in English language. Whether we try it a lot, we always get accustomed with the native accents. Why is that? So do keep finding out, and the research is still on, that when can we change, because there are a lot of instances where we find even state of in India, the different states, English is spoken in different accents. Why? Just find out. It's very interesting. So we'll, until we get back again, keep finding out. Bye-bye, all of you.
Thank you, Rachna ma'am. Really enjoyed.
Thank you, Veena ma'am, for joining us. I should not forget, Veena ma'am is there from the beginning till the end. Every day you're joining us. It's such a motivation.
It's really a blessing to be a part of this platform.
And all the speakers and moderators, please do join us on the last day for the small felicitation from Creative Writing Modern Age. So we would love to felicitate all of you together. That is why I didn't keep it separately, so that all should be there to, clap for everyone. We need that clap. That motivation is important. So I just thought that on the last day when we finish with the speakers, we will come up with the felicitation also. So do join us, all of you, even the first day, and everyone who will be there with us. So bye-bye, all of you.
All the best.
Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Neeraj, thank you very much.